It's now 6 p.m. and I'd like to call this meeting to order and thank everyone for attending. Due to current CDC regulations, attendance at the board meeting may be limited. I'd like to welcome you guys for participating in the board meeting, those who are participating live, and those of you watching the board meeting via live streaming on YouTube. The link to the meeting is on the district webpage under Board of Education. The streaming will run through the end of the meeting. In the event there is a disruption in the audio portion, I'll pause the meeting until we reestablish the link. Dr. Romero, would you please announce the meeting?
This meeting has been announced in accordance with the Open Meetings Resolution and is legally constituted meeting of the Los Lunas School Board of Education.
Thank you, Dr. Romero. At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Michaela from the News Bulletin, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Michaela.
Thank you, Michaela. Dr. Romero, are there any changes or deletions to the agenda?
Ms. Samoya, no, I do not have any recommendations for changes of the agenda.
All right, then the agenda is approved. That moves us to item number 5, the approval of consent items. For the benefits of the audience, board members individually review all the items on the agenda presented by the superintendent and his staff for approval. If no discussion is needed regarding the action items, the items may be submitted for approval at one time. After extensive review, however, of each of the action items on the agenda and the consent items, I would approve all of the action items with the exception of the following. I'd like to go ahead and discuss item number 8B. 1, approval of purchases, a Malloy JDR for 1 Dodge Ram truck for Transportation Department. Item 8B2, Chalmers Ford for 2 Ford trucks for Transportation Department. And item 8E, the approval of construction contract, CES, Two Bears Construction on the remodel office spaces at Central Office. At this time, that brings us, I believe, to item number 7, which is the superintendent's report. Dr. Romero.
Approval of minutes?
Is that correct?
Approval of minutes?
Oh, approval of minutes, that was consented.
That
Yep.
was consented. Awesome. I apologize. Thank you, Board Member Simoya. Tonight, I just wanted to be able to give an update on some of the things we've been working on over the last few weeks. Very excited about a lot of the work that's happened through the month of May and June as we ended up a very interesting school year as we have moved from really in-person learning to a hybrid environment to virtual learning back into a hybrid environment. So the first thing I wanted to be able to talk about, and if we could go to slide 2, I was really excited over the last 2 weeks. I have finally been able to get out and visit our guiding coalitions. And the reason I say it's finally able to do that, again, this was just a different year. And with that, as I started off the school year here, many of the guiding coalition members were in a virtual setting. So I didn't get to see them in their classrooms. I didn't get to see them in person as they got to, there wasn't an opportunity to meet. This was one of the first times all of us were able to meet in person, and it was wonderful. All 15 schools I was able to visit with over the last 2 weeks and had some wonderful conversations. Spent about an hour and a half with each guiding coalition, and we really started the conversations really talking about this last school year. What was the good? What was the bad? What was the pretty? What was the ugly? What were the things that we learned this year that we never want to do again? But also, what were the things this year that are going to change the way we see ourselves as educators and students from now on? And had some really wonderful conversations around what this last year looked like and how it's going to affect next year. We also had some great conversations around the work that's being done in each of the school sites. And it's absolutely amazing to see the work being done by teachers and staff to be able to benefit the outcomes for our students. But we also realize that a lot of this work is being duplicated from one school to the next school to the next school, and it's work that's very similar. And so a lot of our conversation revolved around how can we become more efficient with the work that we're doing so that we not only have this idea of collaborative environments across a grade level or department or even a school, but also collaborative environments across the entire district. And that's really was the focus of the conversation, to where we'll start to work on this summer, actually coming up in just another week or so, starting to really align some of the work that's been done over the last few months and years in Los Lunas around instructional guides, which is really taking a look at the resources we have across the district and aligning them to our standards. Really looking at our proficiency maps to really look at, as a student, from a student's point of view, if a student was to go from one school to another school, and then to another school and another school, which happens quite a bit when students move, that they will have a high educational opportunity, but also have some thoughtfulness about when things are taught so that the student has a continuum of learning no matter what school they go to. And also we started to look at the conversations around the common formative assessments and how students have had, teachers and grade levels and departments have spent a lot of time and energy really working on how to create these common formative assessments to be able to measure how students are learning based on units and lessons and the curriculum. And really taking that work to the next level and starting to have some comment across the district so we can actually use and learn from teachers across the district. So for example, if you're a fourth grade teacher at Sundance Elementary, well, sometimes you only have the conversation with fellow fourth grade teachers at Sundance Elementary. But with the conversations that we've been having and the alignment that we're really looking at, you will be able to have conversations with fourth grade teachers from across the entire district to learn from, to steal from, to share with, and to tell stories. So we're really excited about that. Next slide, please. Also very excited about the opportunities we have for leadership development. This is really preparing our leaders that are in the seats now and preparing the leaders that will be in the seats for tomorrow. And this includes our teachers, our instructional coaches, our assistant principals, our principals, and those wanting to be in my chair one of these days. I would love for every principal to be ready to be able to be in my chair. And sometimes that happens sooner than we all think. So really spending and thinking about how we develop leaders across the entire district. And a lot of this also has to do with the idea of coaching and feedback. We all grow, we can all grow, we all need to grow, and this really happens in a very efficient manner through a model of coaching and feedback. We also want to be able to create that pipeline with our instructional coaches, our content specialists, and something that we do need to improve on in the district is really having supports for our bilingual and our English language learners. These are going to be some of the areas that we're going to be focusing on this year. Supporting our staff with more instructional coaches, really supporting our schools with having content specialists in each area to be able to really create some of the tools I talked about before when it comes to instructional guides and proficiency maps, and really aligning those across the district, and then really ramping up the support that we have for our bilingual programs and our English language learning supports. A lot of these will be funded this year through our ESSER funds, and I'm really excited to be able to, that this is going to be the year that we have some money to be able to do that. These are things that we haven't been able to do in the past to the level that we want, and this year we're going to be able to do that. Last slide is our K-8 Digital Academy. And this is going to be an opportunity for families that are living in the Los Lunas School District area that still would like to be able to have the utilization of a digital environment continue to be able to do so. We saw many students across the district this year that actually very much thrived in that environment. We saw a lot of teachers very much thrive in that environment, and we want to be able to support that as we move on. We are not done with the pandemic quite yet. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we still have a ways to go before we really see the end of the pandemic. This will give families the options, for one, that have any health concerns because of the pandemic to continue in a virtual environment, and two, it'll allow families that saw that there was a lot of success for their child to continue that success in a digital environment. We have asked parents, we have actually put out a survey to parents across the district to gauge the interest. We saw that the interest was there. We have now opened up the registration for families to go ahead and register their children for the K-8 Digital Academy. And so what I want to really say tonight is that families, if you're listening to me tonight and you see a need, you are interested in the Digital Academy, it's ready for you to come in and register. If you have any questions, you can reach out to your child's school or you can call central office and we can get you pointed in the right direction. It's going to be important that we really do know. So I talked about us putting out a survey of who is interested. That let us know that there was an interest. But now we need to be able to see those families register so that we know how to staff it appropriately and we know how to be able to purchase the materials and resources appropriately for that Digital Academy. So it's open. We want to get the word out there to make sure that you do know that it is available. And so if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. And so with that, Board Member Simoa, that concludes my superintendent updates, and I stand for any questions.
Absolutely. Thank you for your report. Question, we'll start on the Digital Academy first.
Yes.
Do we have a number of registrants at this time for the Academy?
We have about 20 so far that have registered. When we put out the interest survey, we had it close to about 180, which was probably a number that we thought was falling into what we thought would happen. But it's only turned into about 20 so far, so we know that the families are out there. They just haven't come over to register. Our worry is somewhat that some families may be waiting till we get closer to the start of school. I think my ask tonight is if you are interested to please register so that we can plan and prepare, make sure that we are ready to go for that Digital Academy. It could put some hardship on the startup of the program if we have any families that are waiting for that first day of school. Don't wait for that first day of school. Go ahead and get registered now.
And is there a link on the Los Lunas Schools webpage that explains what the Digital Academy is, how they sign up for it, you know, what the involvement is for the parents, the teaching, what it looks like in actuality?
Absolutely. So if you go to our home webpage, it's right on the front page. It'll give you some information about what the Digital Academy is and how to register, and give you some insight to what they're going to be doing. We will be looking at a specialized curriculum that's designed for online learning. It's going to look a little different, a lot different than what we saw during the pandemic with virtual learning. Essentially what we were doing there is we were taking a curriculum that we already had that is meant for in-person learning and adapting it to a virtual environment. We then did move to some online supports like Nearpod to be able to support that. We're looking at now that we've learned a whole lot this last year. We are very much well prepared to be able to move into a digital learning academy that's got specialized curriculum that's meant to be in that environment.
Good to know. And then just one comment on the leadership development. I think that's phenomenal with the changes to the retirement through the state. For the first time, all these districts are seeing, if you never thought you could move up, you can move up. So it's our job to have them prepared.
Absolutely.
For that. Oh, thank you for posting that on up for us, as a matter of fact, on the website. That's perfect. So thank you for your report, sir.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
I can't wait to talk to you all about updates as we actually move through this plan.
All right, that brings us to item number 8, the Finance Committee, the consent items. I'll turn it over. Dr. Romero, do you want to talk about the items on the consent?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. We had 3 items for discussion tonight. The first is going to be item 8B1. This is the Malloy CRDJ for 1 Dodge Ram truck for Transportation Department. For this, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Sermons for a little bit of a summary on this and to stand for any questions.
Sure, thank you. Ms. Moya, Dr. Romero, we are requesting the purchase of a total of 3 vehicles this evening for the Transportation Department. It has been a long time since we've had money in the Transportation Department to be able to replace some of the vehicles. We are replacing 3 vehicles, one from 1996 Crown Vic, a 1997 Chevy 250, and a 2002 Ford 350. The reason why we're able to purchase vehicles this year is we have the budget available in our transportation budget because buses weren't running the majority of this year. We did have a savings in that fund, and also it's absolutely necessary. These will be used for the mechanics in the shop to be able to fix the buses and slide parts, circuit parts, and then also a vehicle for checking routes and just available to the transportation staff as needed. So
Yeah, yeah, I have to approve them separate because they're two separate items. I guess the question was the availability of buying 3 vehicles from one dealership versus buying 1 at one dealership and 2 from the other
Sure.
dealership. Is there an explanation for that?
Thank you, yes, and so just to
Yes, so we did want to make sure that these vehicles were in stock and we were going to be able to receive them and pay for them prior to June 30th. June 30th is the end of our fiscal year, and any money left in transportation on June 30th reverts back to the state at 100% in this particular year.
So we'd have to take possession of them prior to that?
Yes.
So, and I know that
Yes,
a
so
lot
it
of
was
them-
real important when we were looking to make sure that these vehicles were available for immediate delivery.
So we had 1 vehicle that was in stock at Malloy, and we had 2 vehicles that were in stock at Chalmers.
Yes, that
Yes.
is correct.
So these are replacement, they're not adding to the fleet in 1996, 1997, and 2002, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. No further questions with that. Dr. Romero, I will approve. Item 8B1, the approval of purchase for the Malloy CJDR for 1 Dodge Ram pickup truck for transportation. And I will approve item 8B2, the Chalmers Ford for 2 Ford trucks for transportation department.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And Dr. Romero, the next item was item 8E, the approval of construction contract.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Simoia. This is item 8E. This is the approval of a construction contract. This is a CES contract with Two Bears Construction to remodel office space at central office. So what we're actually doing here is we are starting to prepare for our construction of Peralta Elementary. Peralta Elementary is slated to be rebuilt, and we need to be able to prepare for those students on where they're going to be in school next year. The plan is for them to move to the Blue School, and so we are doing some remodel projects to be able to make sure that that facility is ready to go for them there. And part of that, where the Blue School is located, is we have athletics and our school resource officers' office there. Those 2 portables will be needed for part of the Peralta move to the Blue School. And so this is the time right now to be able to start to get them ready to be able to move. This is athletics and our SRO office. Behind central office, we have a double portable that we have used for storage for many years. It's a very nice portable, a good portable, but we need to be able to make it ready for office space. And so this is going to allow for this double portable to be able to be remodeled. It's going to have an office kind of framed off inside the office and allow us to really get it recarpeted, painted, get it used, really ready for some of our staff to be able to move into that from both athletics and from our school resource officers. So we have been able to work with Two Bears Construction to be able to do that. The plan is to be able to do this remodel project over the next couple of months. We should be able to have them ready to be able to move in right around the beginning of school, which will put us on track so that we can start making the improvements to the Blue School site. And then that will then lead us up into next year, where Peralta will move into Blue School while Peralta is being rebuilt. So this is going to be a stage of events that will take place with eventually us having a brand new school for Peralta Elementary.
That's good to know. All right, so they'll be moving here, and we believe that the construction can be completed over the summer months?
It should be close. It should be June, July.
All right.
Does that sound right, Andy? And but that fits well within our timelines to be able to have them move over, athletics and the school resource officers, and then us have free reign to be able to get Blue School ready for Peralta students.
And Two Bears Construction Company, this is a CES contract, New Mexico-based, I'm assuming, company?
Yes, that is correct, Ms. Simoia.
All right, with that information, thank you for filling me in on that.
Yes.
With that information, I will approve item 8E, approval of construction contract, CES, with Two Bears Construction for the remodel office space at central office. So with that, the 3 items on the consent are approved.
Thank you.
That then brings us to item number 9 on the agenda. very quick meeting for the summer. Announcement of meetings. On July 13th, 2001, there'll be a finance meeting here in central office at 9 a.m. On July 20th, there will be a regular board meeting here at central office boardroom at 6 p.m. And with that, that brings us to item number 10, adjournment. With that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.